Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the August 15th edition of the Courtside with Coach Chris show. I'm Greg Crist, along with my good buddy Steve Crozier, who is filling in. I'm not sure who he's filling in for, Blankenship, Gorby, everybody. And so he's taking over the reins for those guys that can't make it. And I appreciate him for doing that. He's always a huge help to me in these shows and stuff. And I also want to thank Mike Dunlap and Mark Parsons. Both of those guys are instrumental in helping us get guests not only for this show, but our show we do in Morgantown. And we appreciate those guys as well. And without further ado, we like to do what we always do. At the beginning of the show, we go out to the one eye in the sky, our Chopper One traffic and weatherman, Mr. Muggy McLeod, with his sidekick, Misty Rains, and Earl the Pearl the dog. Muggy, are you there?
Yes, sir, Coach. Good evening, and thank you for taking all my intro.
Okay.
Anyway, we are. This is Maggie McLeod coming to you live from Oak Hill, West Virginia.
Hey.
And yes, sir, Coach. We are zipping around up here in the air with your NRN One in the Sky Chopper One traffic and weather report.
Awesome.
I've got my, as you said, I've got my very, very contrite but lovely Sierra Misty Rains at my side, spinning around town with Mr. Earl the Pearl Monroe himself, the Mississippi Lake Hound, my buddy Earl.
Yeah.
And we are cruising around at a high altitude. I want to say hello to Mr. Crow, who it's 2 weeks in a row. He may have to have a permanent spot there on the table, Coach.
Maybe.
How you doing, Maggie?
Yes, sir. I'm doing great.
He's
And,
having good auditions.
yes, sir. And he nailed me last week, Coach, in your absence on the Washington Wild Things. He nailed it.
Yes, he did.
Yes, sir. He took me by surprise.
He is a baseball man, I'll tell you that right now.
Yes, sir. He left me almost speechless. Anyway, Coach, we are flying around Oak Hill, West Virginia, where we are hearing the screams and pains of up on Central Avenue of somebody using the bathroom after a kidney stone. I believe that's the scream. Yes, sir. You know who I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
And, oh, yes, you'll be happy to know that I have now announced that to the world, even though I did not use her name. And, oh, Lord, we have a... Yes, sir.
Oh, man. You got a fender bender?
Nothing like Hell's Angels flying around up here in the sky with us.
Wow. Hell's Angels in the air. Woo.
Hell's Angels in the sky.
Yeah.
Kind of like Lucy, except with diamonds. Anyway, Coach, we are flying over the new turf field in Oak Hill, and what a lovely sight, and getting it ready for and anticipation of this season's high school football season. And it's hard to think about football when it's 95 degrees out, but it is that time of year. And, with that new turf field, I am positive that the Woodrow Flying Eagles will be jealous.
Oh, I guarantee you.
Oh, yes. Yes, indeed. So you may as well take them out to the woodshed and give them a thumping if you play them this year.
That's right.
Not sure if they're on the schedule, but anyway.
I think they are.
Okay. Well, very good. Well, we'll continue to fly around Oak Hill. Not much going on today. Traffic's backed up a little bit. It looks like Mr. Gorby may be leaving football practice. Is that where he's at?
No, I think he's at work.
Work? Mr. Gorby has a job?
Yep, Mr. Gorby's got a job, and I think he's done coaching, as a matter of fact.
Wow.
Yeah.
Retired coaching and now has a real job.
Yep.
Not to say that coaching isn't a real job.
Right.
But I'm just saying, I mean, I am talking to some coaches. You can do it.
How's things looking on Euler Avenue?
Euler Avenue's looking good.
Good. Main Street?
The little slick in spots, but it's pretty good. And what other street are we looking for?
Main Street.
Main Street.
Yep.
Main Street is a little backed up. Mr. Gorby's red, what's he drive? The red Impala.
Yeah.
I believe I see the red Impala leaving his job as maintenance man at Lady Godiva's. Is that what he's doing now?
I don't think so, but we'll just keep that to ourselves, what he's doing.
Oh, okay. All right, we'll keep it to ourselves. Could be worse. He could be mopping floors at Lady G's or Southern Exposure.
Yep, that's right.
He's gotta work off those drinks, I suppose. Anyway, but that's not what he's doing. Wink, wink.
How about Virginia Street?
Virginia Street, another street that's, kind of backed up.
Huh. Two main arteries.
The main arteries through Oak Hill are backed up like a heart attack waiting to happen.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to keep an eye out for all that, and we look forward to bringing that first football game on that new turf. That's going to be fun.
Yes, sir. I saw Sammy Davis Jr. one time, and I said, speaking of that, and he said, yes, sir, Muggy, I look forward to seeing you again. And I said, okay, I look forward to seeing you. How will you know that I'm there? And he said, I'll keep an eye out for you.
There you go. There you go.
Some of your listeners may not quite get that.
Probably not. All right, Muggy.
It's kind of like, have you ever seen Ray Charles's wife?
All right. Here's he, right?
Neither is he. Yes, sir, Coach. Okay, all right, Coach. With the weather now coming on to you live, we got a hurricane kind of. What in the world is that? It sounds like somebody's Ring doorbell going off. But anyway, the postman always rings 3 or 4 times apparently. Anyway, Coach, the weather's kind of hot and crappy, and the hurricane's moving in down south, and we may get a little bit of rain from that. But hey, as long as it cools it off, but once it happens, Mother Nature decides to cool it off in West Virginia, it's going to be crappy again.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir, Coach. But all right, well, the weather was brought to you by Mr. Gorby's unknown place of employment, and if you mention this ad on when you go there, if you kind of happen to see Mr. Gorby, that's the only way you'll know that you're actually there. Mention this ad, and they'll give you something free for whatever it is they sell or do there. So anyway, Coach, that's this has been. I'll get off your wavelength here and let you move on with your show. Something hopefully more entertaining than this call.
All right, Muggy, we appreciate it, buddy.
Sir. All right. Well, this has been Muggy McLeod, Misty Rains, and Earl the Pearl Monroe with your One Eye in the Sky NRN Chopper 1 traffic and weather report. Over and out.
All right, you tell Misty and Earl we said hey, we love them.
I sure will.
All right, Muggy.
Yes,
be safe.
Yes, sir.
All right. All right, Muggy McLeod out there in the sky over Oak Hill tonight and checking out the new field out there, Crow. They got that new AstroTurf going down. Everybody's got their fingers crossed hoping that it'll be ready in time.
That's what I hear. I think they opened up on the road and, trying to finish up everything before their first home game, which I hope they do.
Yeah, I hope so too, because that'd be a nice little celebration for that, and be good for them to get a start their season on it. So hopefully that'll come to fruition. I haven't been out and looked at it for a while, but last time I looked, it had a long way to go. But that's been a couple months ago, so I don't know how it is now. But I understand over at Midland Trail that they are going to have theirs ready for opening day. So they said they were a little bit ahead of schedule, even on this one. So hopefully it'll be open. That'll be a good thing.
Is that something, Coach, that the Board of Education here in Fayette County are doing, taking on the football projects? I know Raleigh County, Dave Price actually was a superintendent there a few years ago, and I think he did that before he left for the SSAC.
Yeah, I think, for years we heard we'll close schools down. We'll have money to keep these schools upright and nice, and I think that's all part of that, where they've closed some schools down. They've got a little surplus of money to come in, and how they do different things to get money in on those projects. So, yes, the Board of Education is doing this. So, finishing up a new school over in Meadowbridge and putting turf down on the fields and fixing the tracks at Trail and Oak Hill. So, good stuff happening. Good for them. The segment we always do, I don't know if you and Gorby did it last week or not, but we started doing this day in sports history. It's day in history, actually. And got a few of those to talk about here just quickly, and then we'll move on to our hell yeahs and our hell no's. The first thing on the day in sports history, in 1948, Babe Ruth passed away on August 15th at age 53. 1936, at the 36 Olympic Games, which reminds me of something I was helping one of them, I'm not going to say which kid, with a paper not long ago, and he was trying. His paper was on recognizing some black athletes, black people in history, and one of them I mentioned to him was Jesse Owens, and I said Jesse Owens just medaled like 4 or 5 medals, gold medals in the 36 Olympics. He sat there, he was writing it down. He went, "My gosh, he competed in 36 Olympics? I'm like, no. You don't understand. In the 1936 Olympics. I said, that's just something we say in the 36 Olympics. You know that it's the 1936 Olympics. Anyway, a U.S. citizen by the name of Carla DeVries found Adolf Hitler in the crowd and went up to him and got a handshake and a kiss on the cheek. And she said that he was a very nice, courteous gentleman. So I'm sure a lot of the red hats would like that right now. They seem to like Hitler a little bit. So a lot of people in this country probably glad to hear that he was a nice guy. Anyway, I say that in jest. Masahori Murakami. Took a lot to get that out. Masahori Murakami, first Japanese player in Major League Baseball, and they did a celebration in '65. So I'm guessing it was in 1965. I'm not real sure about that, but I think it was. 1970, Patricia Palinkas, first woman in pro football, played for a team in Orlando, pro football player. 1990, Mark McGwire became the first player in Major League history to hit 30 home runs in each of his first 4 seasons.
Didn't know that.
Pretty impressive.
Yep.
So, and that's it for the day in history. And I don't expect you to have any hell yells or hell nows because I know you didn't have a chance to prepare for that because you didn't know about it. So, but you do have some stuff that you want to take a minute to announce and talk about. We always like to talk about this stuff and let people know about it. So I'll let you have it.
Thanks, Coach. October 5th, we had mentioned it last week. Tex Williams is having an event at the museum in Clear Fork, 12 o'clock start. And, the focal point's going to be Jerry West. We didn't really hit on that much. He passed away, was it May or June?
Yeah.
And,
June, I think.
Kind of took everybody by surprise. But, I mean, what a great West Virginian. He was there in 2014 in person to cut the rhythm when Tex started actually doing, the events at the museum as opposed to, I think he started at Shoney's and gravitated to the Armory and then went out there and stuff. So, and Jerry Lucas, who he's befriended, you guys had at the Tamarack in April, is going to speak on Jerry West. They played during the same era. Willie Akers, legendary Logan High School basketball coach, is going to be there. And, some people know, some people don't. But, I mean, Willie played at Mullins, and Jerry West played at East Bank, and they became best friends at West Virginia University. And, Coach Williams told me, I think right before he passed away, Willie had talked to Jerry and stuff.
We interviewed Willie on our show up in Morgantown shortly after Jerry West passed us in the summer. And, man, that was a treat. He was a great interview. He told great stories. And, he said he had talked to him just a few days prior. And I was really shocked when he got the news. But, they were great friends, close friends. And Willie's still lucid and very, very entertaining. We had a good interview with him. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, I bet.
Yep.
And when you guys were down at the Civic Center in the summer of 22, he's bringing back Bob Pruitt and Greg White. I don't know if you interviewed them because you did your podcast that day, and he had a lot of people, and you were bouncing around the room, picking up, talking to a lot of different people. There was like 1,500 people, but both of those guys are going to be there also, which is very important because this kind of hits home. Lonnie Warwick, Minnesota Viking, Atlanta Falcon, legendary Mount Hope athlete and stuff. We're going to pay tribute to Lonnie. Hopefully, if his health, is okay, he's going to be present. And Mike Kessinger, the mayor of Mount Hope, is going to do the tribute on Lonnie, which you guys know him better than me. But I got an opportunity to meet him one time at his house. Brought a newspaper guy up from Charleston. Man, what an interesting guy! Very impressive. Yeah. And I was thinking on the way over here today when I was looking at my notes. I mean, there's not very many big name stars that go back and live at their hometown,
right.
Which most of them live abroad.
Yep.
And stuff. But Dave Price, another guy, you probably crossed paths with him, SSAC guy. He was Raleigh County Superintendent before that. He's going to speak. And I was telling Darren, we were talking about some of the schools, I guess, in conflict with the classifications, and they had a lawsuit. But, based on what, and I've met Dave years ago, he coached baseball in Boone County, but with the Coaches Association, the work that I've done, in 2025, he's proposing an 8-team state baseball tournament, 4 classes. So 8 times 4 is 32 as opposed to the old four, like when you coach baseball, you had 4 schools in each class, and 3 classes, you had 12. So, kind of based on what I've seen, it seems like he's pretty proactive because, that's something that the coaches had pushed for, kind of like the 16-team football, state tournament and the 8-team state baseball tournament. They can never make any headway. So they've already, it sounds like, close some ground there. But he's going to talk about state high school athletics in West Virginia. We're going to dedicate the museum. Hopefully get signs marking it coming in from Charleston and Beckley. You got the 85 national tournament team that Coach Williams coached at UC. The induction class is going to be 20. We'll have museum tours, food. Hopefully you guys can post up and do the podcast interviews. And I wrote down, real quick here, a few people. Kenny Howell, athletic director at West Virginia Tech. Yep. Really nice guy. Kenny's going to be in the induction class. Eddie Ivey, and that will be a guy. He'll be our conduit to North Fork basketball. Eddie just retired from Kanawha County Schools. He was worked at the board office and stuff. And I had his son at Nitro, but Eddie was a heck of an athlete and played on the North Fork teams, I think 75 to 77, won state basketball championship and a football state championship. But my question was this. We were talking the other day when we had Ashley Brown on. I go home. So, Eddie was on my list, and I called him, and I said, let me ask you something. I was pulling in the driveway. I said, what's the best North Fork team? 79 team. I said, we played against him. Winfield spit it out, with Russell Todd. He said, heck no. He said, I think he said the 73 team had Anthony String-Harris, Scotty Todd, and another guy, Carrington, and he said he could have played football at Ohio State. He said, that's the best team ever. He said, I was in 7th grade. He said, and I said, really? Because, those teams we played against in 79 and 80 and 77 were pretty daggone good. Yep. And then, hopefully we can get down there. He's working on getting us some bodies, but he's going to get inducted. Mark Caesar, the son of Dave Caesar, famous Magnolia football, baseball coach. Yeah. Not very many people know who Mark is. He's a head coach at John Marshall Baseball now. But here's all Mark's done. 92, 93, 94. He played in the same year as Randy Moss. He won the Kennedy 92, 93. Moss won it 94. He went to Charleston Southern, played for Randy Mazie, who was the baseball coach at West Virginia. I think now he's stepping back. And he played 5 or 6 years in the Red Sox organization also. So he's getting inducted. He's a very, very nice guy. You'll enjoy. If you're there, hopefully we'll point him out and get him over there. Tim Christie from Buffalo played baseball at West Virginia State and Marshall. Timmy's the head baseball coach at Myrtle Beach High School, and he's also started Domingo Bay, which is a big tournament that a lot of West Virginia teams go down on spring break. They have week tournaments like 4 or 5 weeks in the spring over spring break. Big money maker. Yeah. Dave Rogers, I'm sure you know him, being from the basketball arena, and he was a successful administrator, and I think he's still doing it. The basketball administration has to be 70s. It's amazing to me these guys, can stay on it that long. And then Denny Price, Musselman High School football coach. So that's just kind of a preview, but things are picking up.
That's a good lineup, I tell you what. And those things, say what you want. I know Artie's a little bit out of the way, but Tex puts on a great show. It's always fun. It's always well organized. And, for what that is down there, he does amazing stuff with the little bit of property there and the museum he's fixed up. Great stuff.
I know last year you were on vacation, and I filled in. Me and Darren and Dave did the podcast, and we had Maurice Robinson, we had Jerry Lucas, we had about 8 or 9 people, and the interviews went really good once we kind of got them flowing and stuff. But I told Darren, once the ceremony started, I was tired. Yeah. You bang out 9 or 10 in a row. I tell you what, it makes you tired because you got to be sharp, and you don't want, because every guy that you have He's the most important
That's
guy.
right.
He didn't want to be. It doesn't matter if it's Jerry Lucas or some guy from small high school.
Yeah,
They're
people
all
think
important.
that's easy. They think that's easy to do, and it's not. And, and even calling games, that's not an easy thing to do. And if you have to call 2 or 3 in a row, we did that up at the Greenbrier. That's hard work. I mean, it takes it out of you. It really is hard. And look forward to that. And we'll talk more about that as it gets closer, and then hopefully we'll be able to go down and show it like we normally have done in the past. We'll try to get down and put that on the live stream. And speaking of the live stream, I want to mention tonight, I think we are on the cable channel, on the local cable channel 4 here, Optimum Cable, and we're excited about that because that'll reach us out more to the population that relies on cable for their TV. And I know my neighbor, she's always like, I can't watch your show. And I'm like, hey, you can't. Just get it on Facebook or I don't do Facebook. I don't do YouTube. And so she's excited about being able to get not only this show, but the games that we're going to be showing for Oak Hill. We'll be getting those on too. So that's pretty exciting stuff for us here at NRN. Looking forward to all that. Now, normally, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go through this kind of quick. Normally, we talk about it a little bit, but I don't want to take up too much time because I want to get our guest on. We have a segment that we call Hell Yeah, Hell No, and we talk about a couple of our Hell Yeahs and a couple of our Hell No's from the past week. And I've got a couple that I'll share with you, and you can just, if you'd like to chime in on it, fine. If you don't, that's fine too. My first Hell Yeah, you mentioned Jerry West. I found out today that WVU is going to honor him, not just in basketball. Every sports team, all 18 varsity sports at WVU, are going to wear his number, patch his number on their uniforms. And then during basketball season, they're going to have each sport is going to have one special day where they honor him. Whether it's soccer, it doesn't matter, whatever the sport is. One day they're going to honor Jerry West. The court's going to have the number on it, to 44 on it. And I think they're going to wear some throwback uniforms on the basketball day that he wore when he played. So I think that's a cool thing for them to do. They get a lot of criticism up there for not recognizing former athletes and stuff. You hear a lot about that, but I think Ren Baker realizes the importance of this and stepping up and doing something nice here.
Oh, how could you not? The guy's the logo of the NBA, and I think, and you would know this. You're a basketball guy, but like, isn't he a 3-time inductee in the Basketball Hall of Fame as a player,
coach, and administrator, like a general, whatever they call it,
right?
GM, general manager,
right?
He's in there for three different reasons. He's in there.
A contributor, maybe
a contributor. Yeah. He's the only one that I'm aware of, and they need to. And Ren Baker even said greatest West Virginia mountaineer athlete ever.
No question
about that. The other hell yeah I wanted to say was this was kind of a hell yeah and a hell no altogether. The men's basketball team winning the gold medal in the Olympics. That was something that I really, if they had lost, that would have been a terrible blow to the NBA. And I tweeted out and said they won in spite of Steve Kerr, because I didn't like the way he handled his players and playing time and that sort of thing. I coached for a long time, not at that level, obviously. And I can tell you now, if I had 12 guys that were superstars, I'd get them all 12 in the game at some point. It's not that hard to do. And, he's taking a lot of heat for that, and I think he should take a lot of heat for that. I still haven't really figured out what he was doing, setting Tatum all that time, and just didn't make any sense.
Right. And early in the sequence when they were playing the preliminary games, they almost got beat.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and I agree with you. I think at that level, he's probably got 3 or 4 elite assistant coaches. Everybody there, everybody on the teams is.
Yeah, he had Tyronn Lue. He had Spoelstra.
Right.
The guy from Gonzaga. Can't remember his name, but good coaches.
So what's the most important thing with that? Once you put the team together, is delegating playing time.
That's right.
And like you said, and finding units that can work together, because everybody's great at that level.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
they're all great. And for him not to play any at all in those 2 games, just, I don't know, it just blew my mind. I'm like, why would you not put him in for a while anyway?
Exactly.
And they, like you said, they almost lost that one game. Had they lost that, well, they might have killed Kerr for that. But anyway, I thought that was pretty so shabby. The Hell No's. First one is back to the Olympics again. The girl, her name's Childs, I think, losing her bronze medal on a technicality. She won. They competed, the girl, and I forget where she was from, Portugal, or I don't know. But the Portugal girl won whatever country she was from. I don't know that that's the right, not it. She won. The U.S. filed an appeal. They reviewed it. The appeal was upheld, so the girl from USA won Childs. So she got the bronze. So the other girl was all upset and crying, of course. Well, this week they had some kind of hearing with somebody that was like a coach on this other girl's team. He's like a head of the attorneys, something, I don't know. But anyway, they had another ruling and overturned the USA's appeal and said that they have a minute to do it, and they made it in a minute and 4 seconds. So they overturned the appeal again. So now the other girl wins it, and the USA girl loses it. And I think that's a big hell no. I mean, I think you got to go by who won. Yeah, Jordan Childs, her name. Thank you, Darren. You got to go by who won. I don't care if the appeal was 4 seconds late or not. That's a minute. That's such a small amount of time. What difference does that make if you get it right? On the other hand, if that is the case, I don't see taking a medal away from either one of them. Why not give them both a bronze medal? I mean, it probably cost $25 a piece. I'm sure they can afford. Just give them both a medal and end the whole controversy.
Well, I tell you what, and I think you can attest to this because you coached all your life. All this stuff with athletes and trying to get them to play together and parental interference and this and that, it takes away from the therapeutic. I know you're a basketball purist. When you get in the gym, you're in your haven.
Oh yeah.
You like to make a practice plan out, get a unit, go through the drills, get a unit ready to play the schedule and stuff. And, and I'm sure that you can attest to this. I've met a lot of coaches and stuff, but I've never met a coach. Some are better than others, but I've never met a coach that wanted to lose. Everybody wants to try and win. And I think, the number one rule is get the best people out there. And I think most people have the interest of, the kids at heart. Yeah. And, all this stuff we're talking about here just takes the fun out of it.
Sure does. Yeah. It's just crazy when you leave it in the hands of people that you can't trust and adults in this case. I just didn't understand any of that. That was a crazy mess. My other hell no. And I was reminded of this again today. People that go to Sheetz, park at the gas pump, and go inside and order food and leave their car sitting at the gas pump, and then come back out after they get their food and pump their gas and leave. While I'm sitting out there in my car waiting to get in and get some gas, I can't get in because they're sitting in the parking spot. That's one of my big hell no's. It's Weston Sheetz is the busiest place on earth. That place it's swamped with people because the gas prices are real low.
Sure.
There. Everybody goes there to get their gas.
Yep.
And it is always full. The parking lot's full. The gas pumps are full. People are sitting and waiting, And then these idiots park at the pump and go inside. Yep. I'm like, I get my gas. If I want to go inside, I pull up into one of the parking spots or go down here by the garbage cans and park and then walk inside. I don't impede anybody's progress in getting their fuel. Right. I was there for 20 minutes today trying to get a tank of gas.
Oh, man.
Oh, it drives me crazy.
I know. It's funny you said that. I know when my girlfriend leaves Beckley and heads back to Lexington, that's the first place she goes to Sheetz to get fuel. Yeah. We always fuel her up either Sunday evening or Monday morning.
So what I do is I stop at Weston on my way up and fill up, and then I work it out. So I need to fill up on my way back. I'm making sure I got enough to get to Weston again to fill up there because we call it blue gas. I use that 88 octane, and like today it was $2.95. It's worth the effort, to stop. But it's the second time that's happened. Somebody's sitting there, and I'm in there waiting and waiting. Like, where are these people? The first time it happened, the lady took her two boys inside, and they ordered food, they ordered food, and they had to cook it and make it. And then they sat there and ate it because I walked in, and they're sitting there eating. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? So I go ahead and do whatever I want to do and get my stuff. They get up and walk out. Well, they go out and get in that car. It's been sitting out there for 25 minutes in the gas pump line. Right. And there's only either 2 or 3 of those pumps that have that blue gas on it. There's only 2 or 3 you can get it on. So it ain't like you can go to one of the other 10 pumps, Anyway, I'll be ranting about that until the day I die. All right, that's enough of that foolishness. We'll take us a quick break. We haven't announced who our guest is tonight, but we are going to welcome into the show. He's a veteran at the show now, Davon Marion, the head coach at Oak Hill High School. We're going to talk to Davon a little bit about this new alignment that they've changed up, and kind of odd timing for that right here before the season starts. I want to get his input on that and find out about his schedule and all those kind of things. If you have questions you'd like to ask Davon, just shoot me a text or Crow, if you know his number, you can shoot him a text. I'm not going to give my number out. It'll have to be somebody that knows me. If you got a question for Davon, you can surely text me, and I'll get that question to him. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll come back with head coach of the Oak Hill Red Devils, Davon Marion. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Courtside with Coach Crist Show, brought to you here on the New River Network. I'm Greg Crist. That is Steve Crozier, and we are tickled to death to have our guest that we have with us tonight, Coach Davon Marion, the head football coach at Oak Hill High School. Davon, we appreciate you taking this on such short notice. Really looking forward to talking to you. Thanks for being here.
Hey, I thank both of you gentlemen. Anytime you could have me on, I will be on. So
awesome.
I appreciate the opportunity.
Awesome. We appreciate that as well. We want to get right to it here before we talk about your team and the situation in Oak Hill field and all that. Before we get to that, we want to ask you about this news that broke this past week concerning the reclassification of schools. You guys were one of them that were dropped out of the 4A down to the 3A. I got some questions about that. First of all, are you satisfied with that verdict, the way it came out, and the opportunity to move down? And then what do you do about your schedule at this point? It's too late to change it. So what's your thoughts on all of it? Crazy week.
Honestly, I'm excited. I told my kids at the beginning of this week when the news broke that I don't see any reason we can't finish in that top 6 range.
Right.
I believe in them. They believe in themselves. And we know some of the teams at the top of Class 3A, the Fairmont Seniors, the Bridgeports, Princetons, those are measuring sticks for us. And, we worked hard this offseason. We faced a little bit of adversity with our field being redone and not being able to get to our weight room, but we still found ways to put in the hard work that I feel like is needed to get through a 10-game regular season. Mm-hmm. And, if we stayed 4A, we would have just played who we had to when it came playoff time. So I'm excited, but I was looking forward to that challenge in 4A. Nonetheless, I think we can make some noise in 3A.
Absolutely. So your schedule is staying the same, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We will not be moving games.
Yeah, that was one of the first things I thought. How are but of course, the good thing about that is you beat some of those teams on that schedule you have, you're going to make it in. You can lose a few and still make it in if you're beating upper class teams. So that's a good side of that, I guess. But surely we want to tamper that down a little bit next year, Coach. Make sure you take a few of those big dogs off there and get you some wins for sure on there. That's what you got to do, and that's coming from an old coach. You got that schedule. That schedule plays big, man.
We were locked into a few 2-year contracts, so the Lincoln counties, the Bluefields, Woodrow will always be a rivalry, and they stay 4A. That'll stay on there.
Absolutely.
University's 4A, and they'll stay on there this year. So contracts, they're year really, but you sign them for a couple years to make sure you get a home and home.
Right.
And I feel like moving to AAA, we don't have to travel as far.
Right.
There's several teams in the Fayette Raleigh area that's in our division that we can get to within an hour. And that's always a plus. So we'll look to move some things around next year on the schedule. But as far as like Woodrow and University and teams like that, that's still Quad A, we'll line up and play those guys and see what Friday night looks like.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, people don't realize the importance of that travel, too. When you get, like we were looking at the 4A last year at this time, we were looking at it, and we're thinking, my gosh, those guys are going to be all over the state trying to play football games and without any choice in the matter,
That's true.
That's a big thing. I mean, when you get to finances and then just the wear and tear of your team traveling those long distances, that's not the easiest thing in the world to do. You mentioned your field. First of all, from what we're hearing, and we hear things, but we don't always know what's true and what's not true. We understand you got a couple kids that have come in and looks like going to make a big difference in the team, and that the team is looking pretty good right now. So, what's your thought? First of all, how many kids do you have out, and then what's your thoughts on the team that you have?
We're right around the 45 through 50 mark.
Okay.
You know how it goes. It's high school football. Depending on the day, depending on what some kids got going on, the numbers fluctuate a little bit. But I'll just say we're right in the 45, 50 kid mark. And we did have Woodrow's quarterback transferred to us, and the kid is pretty good. Like, he'll help open our offense up some. I set the standards high. I tell these kids, coming off last year, winning 8 games in the regular season, you set a new bar for yourself.
That's right.
And the goal each year is to set the bar and the standard even higher. I believe we have the talent to do so. And being in 3A with the talent that we have, I think we can make a pretty good run. Nothing is given, everything's earned, and our kids are willing to put in the work and make sacrifices to make sure they have a great season. So, of course we lack the depth that some schools may have, but I feel like our core group of 30, 35 kids can work and compete with any team in this state. So I'll rely on them to week in and week out execute and dominate on the field, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think remembering your team from last year, one of the things that we talked about often when we broadcast the games was just how disciplined the play calling was, how disciplined the kids were as far as penalties. You didn't do that a lot. It's just a all way around a well-rounded football team, and hats off to you for that. That was fun to watch. You guys had a great season. It was a lot of fun to watch, and I also got to see the Woodrow quarterback play too as well. And I think man, he might have hit the jackpot there. Man, he's pretty good. So
he lit us up a little bit.
Yeah.
So
just
I'm glad to have him on our side.
Absolutely. Real quickly, the field situation.
Yes, sir.
I was down. I mean, it's been probably a couple months since I was down there to look at it. What is the situation? How's it coming along? And are you going to be able to get it? Is it going to be done in time for the first game?
Hey, the turf is laid. They have logos in the end zone, and the middle of the field is done. I'd say we're probably about a week or less away from the field actually being usable. We have a scrimmage next weekend that's supposed to be against Hurricane at home. So I'm waiting to the very last minute to switch plans on that.
Right.
It's coming along great, and I can't sit here and not thank Mr. Hogue, Gary Hogue from our Board of Education, our superintendent, Ms. Hayes, our principal, for making this happen for the kids. They truly deserve it. It's all about the kids.
Yeah.
And it's coming along. I think we have a high chance of playing our scrimmage there next weekend. And we play Princeton on September 13th, and it'll be ready to roll by then for sure. So
awesome.
It's just a blessing that the kids finally getting what they deserve.
Oh,
and,
yeah. Yep.
You know, everything that they were promised is coming true, from the field to a new scoreboard and things like that. And the community deserve it to show up on Friday nights and have something to be proud of. So I'm just thankful for that.
Yep. Long time coming, that's for sure. And, I always said, you move into 4A and you look at your facility and you're like, okay, why is this not a 4A facility? And same thing over Trail. Why is this not an updated facility? And so it's glad to see that for everybody. I think that's awesome. And I tell you what, makes it easier on old people like me to call games from the press box. I can actually see where the ball is.
Oh yeah.
When I'm up there freewheeling with the binoculars, I have a hard time, so I can't see numbers or anything. I do have a question here. Somebody sent in, our good buddy Rusty Udy sent in a question here. He wants to know how in the world can this team manage without the dude Dave Gorby on the sideline? What are we going to do with that?
Gorby called plays for us last year, and he'll be missed. But of course, football rolls on no matter who's a part of it.
That's right. Hey, and in all seriousness, hats off to Gorby for the play calling. I thought the play calling was absolutely phenomenal. I mean, you guys.
He done a wonderful job for us.
Yes, he did.
But
yep.
When one coach leaves, other coaches step up, and we'll let Chris Alston. He played receiver at Marshall. He'll be calling the plays for us this year. He was a part of last year's staff, and he's putting in the work and already watching game tape on Nicholas County to get us squared away for that game. So it'll be his duty to call the plays, and I trust him and the other coaches around him to put our kids in the best positions to be successful. So, Gorby will be missed, but I have faith in all the guys I got now.
There you go. That's good to hear. Crow, you got a question?
Yeah, Coach. Steve Crozier, I wanted to ask you a question. Name 2 or 3 people, or as many as you want, that have had an impact on your coaching career. I know, me and Greg have coached for a long periods of time and stuff, and there was always certain people that I followed or kind of looked up to, and everything. And I was just curious, just who are some people like that that's impacted you?
Of course, I'll start with my high school coach. Coach Eddie Zook, that was at Mount Hope for years and decades upon decades. And, some of his old school mentality rubbed off on me, and he gave me a chance when I was just a young kid trying to make a name for myself. And a lot of life lessons was given to me through playing for Coach Zook. So he's the first one. Then I'll go to Coach Garen Justice. That was at Concord my last few years. And just his approach and preparation for the game is something that I really loved, and emphasizing to me what I could be and what I should be for that football program. And finally, Coach Steve Adams. He's currently at Norfolk State out in Virginia. He's coached at several D1 schools. He was my defensive backs coach at Concord, and that's the one that truly sat me down and told me, Davon, you can be special, and you should stick around football for as long as you can. So I really thank him a lot. We're still really good friends. We're texting buddies, and I still look at him for some advice and things like that. But he's probably been the coach that had the most impact on my life.
That's awesome. And I've told this story. I think I told Davon the last time. Whenever I was teaching at Mount Hope, Davon was probably in the 8th grade or so when I was getting ready to leave there and go to Trail to take the basketball job. And that was one of the things, because he not only was he a tremendous football player, he was a heck of a basketball player too. One of the things it was kind of tugging at me a little bit. Now, are you sure you want to leave, not get a coach in? It was tough. Yeah, I hated to leave, and I wish I could have. I got a hold of him. I'd have took him with me, and we'd have went over and won some state championships. Almost won one anyway. Yeah. Had a good shot at it anyway, didn't you? Hey, you mentioned one coach here. Go ahead and mention the rest of your coaches that you have on staff.
Of course, like I said before, Chris Alston will be calling our offense. I got Derek Showalter returning. Mon Lynch, this is his first year coaching, and he just brings excitement and loves being around the game. John Arthur, who was the offensive line coach and helped with the defense at Midland Trail. He's an Oak Hill guy, so we're just glad to have him back. Brad Compton's another Oak Hill guy that's been around forever, and that rounds us out, I believe. Me, Austin, Coach Derek Showalter, John Arthur, Brad, and Mon Lynch. So we have 6, and I trust in the 5 other guys to truly prepare our kids and put them in positions to win. So as the head coach, my ultimate job is to manage everything and let the coaches coach, and they do a great job at that.
Yep.
I was getting ready to ask you, Coach. This is your second year at Oak Hill, being the head coach?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I don't know how many years you were an assistant coach, but I mean, I'm sure, once you go through a full cycle, I was a head baseball coach at South Charleston at age 23, and then I was assistant basketball. So, I started at a young age, and obviously, I think what you didn't know, you make up for with lack of effort, and as you get older, you figure more things out as you slow down.
Oh, yeah.
This second year that you're going through this process, things have to be a little bit slower. You sound like you have a pretty good staff. I think you had numerically 6 guys. What, as a head coach, what do you try to do every day, in practice, before practice, or whatever? Do you? And you answered some of it. You like to delegate, which you see a lot of people out there that have a lot of trouble delegating. They want to micromanage everything, and I don't think that you can get the full, out of your people and stuff like that. But what going into your second year, how different are you than your first year? What are some things you've learned?
Hey, honestly, you just said it. I struggled last year with delegating things to my other coaches, and I felt like I had to have a hand in everything, whether it was quarterbacks, receivers, offensive line play, to the defensive side with linebackers, the corners, to the D-line and linebackers. I just felt like I had a hand in everything. And it's not that I didn't trust the coaches that I had last year. It's just that I wanted to make sure we all were always on the same page. But I actually found myself sitting down for a portion of practice at the beginning of the week, last week when we started. And our athletic director, Monty Wright, was there. And I just had a quick conversation with him about how good it felt to actually sit down and watch and observe everything. So that's probably the biggest thing. I'm choosing to delegate more things and be – I won't say I'm a game manager, but I'm going to let the coaches coach. And just my day-to-day preparation, I just want to make sure that we meet as coaches before and after practice and just build, friendships through it all. And with friendships comes the trust that I feel like we need, and I think we have that right now. And so I truly trust my coaches to go out and do their jobs, and they put the work and time in. Anyone that's been around high school sports, middle school sports, it's never about the money. It's about the kids, and our coaching staff love our kids. So they're truly trying to do what's best for them and put them in winning positions.
Right. I've seen, and I think Coach Crist would attest to this, in any of your marquee programs, almost anywhere. And I think you realize this, you're in season maybe 4 months. That's if you're playing till the end of November.
Yes.
I've always said the other 8 months are paramount. You got to have a great off-season program. You got to get the kids in the weight room. You got to be around the kids and stuff. I don't know if you teach in the building or if you're in education or whatever. Do you? Well, that's
that's huge. That's
yes, it
huge,
is.
Man. Just seeing them every day and rubbing elbows with them in the hallway, and got to keep my eyes on some of them. But that's part of having
all
50
part of
kids on the team. So just being in the building helps a whole lot.
Oh, I don't know that you can be a stupendously effective head coach and not being in the building, just simply because I know when I started coaching, Greg, same thing, 30, 40 years ago, discipline was almost out. You might have 1 or 2 discipline problems, a month.
Right.
So you actually got to get in there and teach in the classroom and coach on the field and stuff like that, and it was about other things. Now, as you well know, your job is a problem solver. As a guy puts out brush fires, you're constantly doing that.
Coach, what
I've
kind
learned
of
that for sure as a head coach.
Describe to us what kind of team you're going to have. We saw your team last year. You could pound the ball up inside. You could also throw it a little bit. But what kind of team do you want to put on the field per se coming up this year?
Honestly, we'll be about the same style. We got 3 senior running backs that's all pretty talented.
Right.
Of course, we'll lean on JD to start games, and Tyler Ashmore's great, and James Green is great in his own right. So we got 3 running backs that I have trust in, and our offensive line, it won't be as big as last year, but I think we're more agile, and being in the same system twice and hearing the same terminology helps. Of course, we're going to run the ball, but we're going to throw the ball.
Mm-hmm.
If we could get over that 20 to 30 pass plays a game mark, that would be ideal to back defenses up and let our running backs gash in late in the evening. And defensively, we just want to be physical. Right. That's the name of the game. Just be physical and effort. If you run to the ball and you bring pain when you hit people, great things will happen on defense. So offensively, we want to be balanced and throw it around and run the ball late in ball games. But defensively, that's where we're going to hang our hat, just being physical and showing tremendous effort.
Sure. I tell you what, I'm ready to go watch him play right now. I'm excited. I think you're going to be good, and I enjoyed watching you last year, and I can't wait till this year gets underway. We're really, really excited about it and looking forward to it. Before we let you go, we're running close to time, but I know you are familiar with our Shoot to 3 segment that we do.
Yes,
comes
sir.
from a basketball background. We'd like to ask you 3 rapid fire questions and see if you can come up with some answers for us. I don't know if these were the questions we asked you last time or not. We just kind of rotate them around, so you might get some of the same ones, which should make it a little easier. Anyway, first question. You're going to make a movie about your life. Who's going to play the lead role as Davon Marion?
The lead role will be Idris Elba.
Who?
The actor from he's from Europe. He's been in a few movies, so Idris Elba.
Okay, that's a unique answer. That's somebody I never even heard of.
You would know him.
If I saw him, I'd know him. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to look at Davon next time, and then I'm going to look at him and see what the comparison is. Something tells me he's not as buff. I don't know. All right, question number 2. If you could call a historical figure, not anybody in your family, from the past, if you could call them up, who would you call up and why?
Did I freeze up a little bit?
Yeah, I think you did. Yeah.
Okay.
You're good now. Did you hear the question?
Not the second one.
Okay. And by the way, I just looked at what was his name again?
Idris Elba.
Idris Elba. I just looked at him. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good answer then. All right. Question number 2. If you could call a historical figure, someone from the past, nobody in your family, who would you call up and why?
Of course, I'm gonna go with Dr. Martin Luther King.
Good answer.
Just to pick his brain a little bit and hear about adverse situations he was put in and how he persevered. And the world is forever changing, but everyone goes through things, and I feel like for me, he's been through a whole lot, so I would lean on his wisdom and take in some of his knowledge of how to make an impact on a big group of people.
Absolutely. That's an awesome answer. Yep. All right. And question number 3. If nobody at Oak Hill knew you and you were going to come out on the field and you had to come out to a walk-up song, what would your walk-up song be? And sing a few bars for us.
Oh, Lord. God. I'm definitely not going to do any singing, but I would probably roll with something like Rod Wave, Great Gatsby. He talks about throwing the party of the century, so that's what I want at Oak Hill football game. The party of the century.
You can't knock out a couple verses.
No, that's not my lane right there. Come on, I'm quick like a cat. I'm something like a cheetah, just not with lyrics.
That's a pretty good lyric right there. Of all the people we've asked that question, I thought Rob Summers was one. He dove right in and started singing. Freddie Smalls started singing.
Yeah.
Lynn Murray started singing. I thought Davon Marion would be the fourth one that would start singing.
Oh, no, not my lane.
Most of them do say that. I ain't saying anything. That's what they tell us. All right, Davon. I tell you what, man, it's been a blast talking to you, and we wish we had a little bit more time, but we look forward to covering your games, and we look forward to watching you guys play, man. We can't wait.
Hey, I appreciate you having me on anytime, and, I give all the glory to God for putting me in this situation, and I'm forever thankful and grateful for the situation I'm in, so thank you guys.
All right, buddy. Take care, and we will see you soon. Good luck to you.
All right, y'all have a good night.
All right, bye-bye. Davon Marion, head football coach. I almost said basketball coach. Head football coach at Oak Hill High School. And I tell you what, Crow, last year he did a phenomenal job coaching-wise. I don't know that they had as much talent as some of these other teams they played, but they were so much better coached. You could see it on the field, and they won a lot of games because of that. So,
who did he succeed at Oak Hill?
Dave Moneypenny.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Dave Moneypenny took over for Jason Blankenship, who comes on the show every now and then, and then Dave quit and Davon took over. So he's done a good job so far. Can't complain about the job that he's done, and he gets it out of the kids. They really buy into what he's doing, and he knows what he's doing, and his coaches have shown that they know as well. So it's fun to watch them. They're good fun to watch a good solid team, and you can tell when teams are coached well and not coached well. You can tell. You can watch the game and you can tell. You could tell they were coached well.
I think the dividing factor is what you said when you were in the press box. They didn't get a lot of penalties. They played together and played disciplined.
Played very disciplined, and they had some good. I mean, they got some good players. And he mentioned the running backs. I don't remember all the names, but I know he said JD. He's talking about JD Moritz, who is a handful. He's a load out there, and with that running attack they've got, and this quarterback, I watched him last year. He's agile, can move. He's quick. Got a good arm on him. They're going to be dangerous on offense. I'll tell you right now, they're going to put some points on the board. No doubt in my mind. What little bit I know about football, which ain't much, but I know enough to know that they're going to be pretty good offensively. One announcement we want to make before we get off the air here tonight. Sunday, August the 25th is going to be the Oak Hill Meet the Team. All fall sports, middle and high school at the Lively Amphitheater up here in town. That'll be sponsored by NRN and will be live on Channel 4. So make sure you tune in for that. We're excited about the new channel because I know a lot of you folks out there, or probably not a lot of you folks that are watching tonight, but a lot of folks that like to watch that don't always watch because they don't understand the technology will be happy to know that it's going to be on the cable, Channel 4 on Optimum Cable. So we'll keep announcing that too and get that word out so everybody will know. Crow, I appreciate you coming over and joining me tonight. Big help.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Big help.
Having me.
Especially when I had that coughing fit just now. I hear people say they felt like I had a feather in my throat. I felt like I had the whole chicken in my throat. I couldn't get it out. So I apologize for all that ruckus there for a little bit, but you handled it well. I appreciate you, Darren. Thanks for putting us on here and taking care of all the graphics and all that kind of stuff. And most importantly, thank you for watching. We appreciate everybody that tunes in and all the feedback that we get. It's always enjoyable to hear from outsiders who are watching the show with comments and suggestions and all those things. We really do appreciate that. So with no further statements from you, I guess we'll call it a night here on the New River Network. You've been watching the Courtside with Coach Crist show. I'm Greg Crist. That is Steve Crozier. We thank you again for watching, and we will see you again next week. Good night, everybody.